What can a bishopric do to help the new format be successful and bless the members? And the inverse of that is my pessimistic attitude would ask, how can a bishopric mess this up? Okay, take the positive.
I think what comes to mind first is discipline is going to be really key, and certainly we're going to want bishops to be really disciplined and model that about ending sacrament meeting on time, and not just because, as Elder Renlund mentioned, this is about a schedule change or something fully administrative, but the objective here is to create opportunities to unleash spiritual blessings that we know that will happen in those classes as we go to this new schedule. And for us, particularly in primary, we hope that the bishops understand that one way to make this successful is to treat the spiritual development of children as central to the work of the ward. And that means for them to really attend primary, to participate actively, and to counsel with the primary presidency around the needs that are central to having children have an experience that will allow them to feel those spiritual blessings that come from this change.
Other comments about the bishopric, please.
Yeah, one of the comments that I think we've been hearing is why didn't we reduce sacrament time in order to accommodate this? And I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Elder Renlund, the instruction is that it's up to 60 minutes for sacrament. It could be less. I think there's a tendency on bishops' parts to fill the hour. They get up if there's extra time. They get up and fill it. Let's go ahead and close early and get started in the others. So I think that's...
You can do that?
Well, you tell me.
First presidency.
Yes, you can. Yeah. It's up to.
Yeah.
I think that the difficult will do now, the impossible will take a while. But it's critical that it ends on time.
Yeah.
And that takes planning. It's planning and focus, so that they recognize this is a sacrament meeting where we have a young missionary returning home and reporting. We're going to have a lot more people there. How are we going to deal with that? We have 5 babies we're blessing. How are we going to deal with that? And we never want to do anything but reverence the sacrament. We don't want that to feel rushed in any way, shape, or form. But there are ways that they need to think through. And instead of X number of speakers, they have X minus 1 number of speakers. But other thoughts about the bishopric?
I think it's going to be very helpful for leaders to just be positive, encouraging about this from the very beginning and understand the real purpose. This is building upon the inspired changes of 2019 that really helped parents and individuals and families learn the gospel at home. And this just helps. It really, when you think about it, enhances and builds upon that.
You think about President Uchtdorf's talk, and you sense this optimism with the rising generation, and it starts in primary. And I think if I had a wish in my heart, is that bishoprics would spend the second hour with the rising generation, including primary, and that if they're taking care of adult problems, they're making a mistake. But Kristen?
This is an opportunity I was thinking with the bishopric to utilize their ward council. Let's talk about this early on so that we're learning together, what does this look like? How can we make this new schedule successful, and how do we benefit the members the most? What will not make it successful, and how do we mitigate those early on? How do we help our teachers? How do we fellowship? How do we encourage fellowshipping? We can ask all these questions in our ward councils and be able to be prepared for that, especially at this beginning stage.
And I think building on what Elder Duncan said is that if a bishopric goes into that word council positive and optimistic and tries to infect the other council members being positive and optimistic, that has a leavening effect in the ward. So.
Yes, I was just going to say, what can a bishopric do? In a word, smile. I think just from the pulpit, having that. Yes, exactly.
Just everybody look right now.
Yes, right now.
At Elder Kieran. Okay.
I really think that makes a difference in the confidence and enthusiasm that they have for this program. And I think it really is. It's what Enos talked about in the Book of Mormon when he felt his, father's testimony of the joy of the saints. That phrase alone just changed Enos's heart. Because of the quick interchanges between classes, I think even walking down the hall, we can minister as we're walking down the hall. And when I'm in a ward building, when I'm walking down the hall, I play a game. It's called Whoever Smiles First Wins. And no one knows I'm playing, so I always win. But it's a great thing to do, is to be the first one to smile, and it is contagious. So I love that.
Great. Please.
I think, I'm not sure if it fits specifically with this question, but I think it's a good time to remember home-centered, church-supported. There is power in the Word, and to have 25 minutes is not going to be long enough if we're not studying in the home. And it's been proven that members study the Scriptures more on the Sunday school week than on the non-Sunday school week. And I guess that's good because they're preparing for class, but it's bad that it's a lack of consistency. So bishoprics and others can really encourage personal and family Scripture study and preparation so that the experience we can have is a capstone, not the study experience.
Terrific. Please.
Just one last thought. I think that maybe the spirit behind this revelatory change that we have here was that on a weekly basis now, bishops, advisors, teachers get to see eye to eye with those students and the quorum members and the class members. And I think that is, the continuity of that care is so critical, that they get to see a change in demeanor and behavior and just be able to touch them every week is a beautiful thing.